So a lot of people debate as to why Eminem's newer stuff just doesn't hold up in comparison to his old work. You know, a lot of them will say that his rhyme schemes are too overloaded with rhymes, that it gets in the way of the flow and just doesn't really sound that good. Other people might point to his finger not being on the pulse in terms of his social commentary or his angst anymore. But I definitely feel like we shouldn't overlook a major culprit in this, which is that for whatever reason, Eminem has decided that one of the core tenets of his rapping style is completely overloading his verses with dad jokes. The inspiration for this video came to me when I was listening to his featured verse on the new LL Cool J album, which you can call a comeback, and I was enjoying the new song. I think both of their presences on it are really fun and energetic. But Jesus Christ with the puns, Eminem. About to finish you like polyurethane. My shit fire. That's why you log on it like Duraflame. I'm talking about farmers like insurance claims. I call that hoe Katrina. Somebody better give her a cane.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
There's more. Just giving you a sample, a snippet like scissors do. I call it plucking flowers cause I want to pick a tool up. Looking like organized crime because you can't get him off ya.
I can't find pussy anywhere.
Spaghetti sauce and mozzarella on a tray full of pasta. You got a couple of motherfucking trained killers on ya. Lasagna.
Mamma mia.
Used to fly off the handle like a witch's broom, and I'm just being as frank as Sinatra. That one's not bad, actually. And that's what we're going to be doing today, is we're going to be compiling all of Eminem's dad jokes and organizing them into a little tier list. And that means for the first time in my life, I'm going to have to listen to Revival all the way through. I'm not excited about that, but I'm doing this for you so we can expand our relationship to the point where you can see me as not just a YouTuber, but as your real dad. So yeah, I'm going to pass the buck now to future me, who has done more research and preparation, so that we can get this video started, all right? Alright, I want to make something clear here. I like Eminem. I know it might not seem like it through the tone of this video, but I had a good time going back through his catalog. Recovery filled me with a ton of nostalgia. Marshall Mathers LP2 is a pretty cohesive project. I think rap rock in general has aged kinda weird. Music to Get Murdered By had some bangers on it, and his new album is pretty alright too. It's just his fans that are terrible. God, for weeks around that album release, Reddit was just a cesspool of essays talking about how critics aren't gonna give the album a fair shake because the concept is gonna go over their heads, when the concept is literally the most unavoidable thing of the entire album, down to its cover art. If you judge a book by its cover, you understand the death of Slim Shady. But no, I really needed the transgender cat bar explained to me. Thank you. Wait, did I even put this hoodie up at the beginning? I'm supposed to be looking like Eminem. That's the idea behind this. So I assume a lot of people would say that taking all of these lyrics out of context and judging them ruins the fun of listening to Eminem. And to that I say, no. This is how I have fun listening to Eminem. And if you don't like that, then get out of my room. So this is what we're doing here. I have it sorted into 5 different categories. At the top is Peak Dad, and these are the puns that I'm looking for here. These are the cream of the crop, the ones that I genuinely like. I will give this man props where he deserves it. After that, we have bars. Anything that isn't Peak Dad, but just makes me say, damn, bars. The category after that is Tim Vine. Tim Vine is a comedian out of the UK who uses a lot of puns in his act.
This bloke said to me, he said, I'm going to dress up as a small island off the coast of Italy. I said, don't be so silly.
That's kind of his whole shtick, really, and I have a lot of respect for Tim Vine, but his jokes are meant to be groaners, and I think he's sort of a good representative middle ground for this list. Next after that is 500 hilarious jokes to tell your kids at dinner, those like novelty joke books just filled to the brim with shit that isn't good, but there's 500 of them. We forced some poor writer to fucking churn this one out in a barn. I bet there's probably some on Amazon that are like written by AI. And after that we have Bible Camp, just the corniest or cheesiest or most ill-formed puns. Also, I want to make a point up front to say that These aren't all of the puns I could find. There was a lot of gray area in his lyrics, a lot of things that sort of verged on puns or wordplay, references to things. I kind of had to trim it down to make it a palatable size for me to want to do this. I chose the ones that are the most, like, clear-cut punchline-y, you know? I feel all of that's pretty self-explanatory. Let's get into it. Alright, so the moment that I really feel Eminem's pun era begins is with his album Recovery. So I wanted to start with the most iconic pun from this album. Now you get to watch her leave out the window. Guess that's why they call it Window Pane. This one's a classic because the song is just so melodramatic. Like, it's this really fucking intense, I hate you, but I love you kind of relationship drama. And then this verse just ends with a pun. Like, this will be a consistent thing throughout the list where Eminem just ends up putting puns in a lot of weird places that tonally they don't kind of make sense. But this one actually is it's all right. You know what? I have respect for it. I'm feeling either Bars or Tim Vine with this one. Okay, this next one is from Not Afraid, another single off of Recovery, because the way I feel, I'm strong enough to go to the club or corner pub and lift the whole liquor counter up, because I'm raising the bar. A bit more setup to this one. I guess it makes sense. He's like physically strong, but he's like rapping strong. He's raising the bar for himself. It's a bit forced. You get a lot of imagery of Eminem doing weird things in these puns. This is definitely one of them. Raising the bar, I'm thinking that's a bit Tim Vine. Okay, off of Not Afraid again, like a fuck you for Christmas, his gift is a curse. Has anyone ever gotten a fuck you for Christmas? Hey, it's Christmas. Fuck you. It's kind of silly, but I don't think it works, really. Like, the idea of a fuck you for Christmas is too silly to convey the message of his gift is a curse. I'm gonna go 500 hilarious jokes to tell your kids at dinner. Alright, after that, fuck a steaks. I'll cut my toes off and step on the receipt before I foot the bill. I like that this pun is calling me a This one is insane. Why is he cutting his toes off? I guess it's so people don't get confused and think that he's going to toe the bill. No, he's footing the bill. We need to get all of the confusion out of the way here. Eminem is going to take his shoes and socks off in this restaurant and chop his toes off to convince his date that she's not worth paying for. Yeah, this one's insane. I guess Bible camp. That doesn't feel fitting for Bible camp, but that is kind of the vibe I'm going for, where it's like, what even is the joke here? My fillet is smoking weed. Yeah, the stakes are high. These puns just dropping slurs at me. Why'd the bicycle fall over? Because it was too tired. That feels kind of like a joke book joke. I don't know. Next up, Cinderella Man, your pussy lyric, I couldn't hear it. I guess it's a play on couldn't or can't. Yep, it's edgy. It's for the culture. It's for the edgy white boy culture. Yeah, that lands in the joke book. I gave Bruce Wayne a Valium and said, settle your fucking ass down. I'm ready for combat, man. Get it? Combat, man? Nah. Just giving up on his own pun in the lyrics there. Yeah, if you're trying to get the imagery of squaring up with somebody in your song, don't talk about taking a Valium and being calm. I'm ready for calm Batman. Giving Bruce Wayne a Valium and saying, oh, I'm ready for this one. It's weird. Again, there's something malformed about it. Yeah, we're going to Bible camp with this one. That one's off the charts. Next up is from No Love. I'm standing on my Monopoly board. That means I'm on top of my game. This one kind of suffers a bit from me taking it out of the flow. He's on some like lyrical miracle shit here, and this song is actually good. It's the one with Lil Wayne on it. Genuinely probably my favorite from this era of Eminem. I don't know, it really just puts the image in my head of Eminem like in the middle of a living room standing on top of a board of Monopoly, like, do you get it? It ain't bad. I can totally see this as like a Tim Vine joke. It's Tim Vine all the way, baby. All right, Marshall Mathers 2-time, Berserk. This shit's about to kick off. This party looks whack. Let's take it back to straight hip hop and start it from scratch. Bars. I can't say anything to that but bars. Plus, I showed up with a coat fresher than wet paint. All right. There's something there. Yeah. This works as a rap lyric. It's a boast. That's good. I'll give that one to Tim Vine. That compliments like backhanding a donkey. It's a good way to get your ass socked in the mouth. Huh? Okay, you're losing me a bit here, Eminem. That's a good way to get your ass socked in the mouth. Really? Is there any other way to get your ass socked in the mouth? That's like the only way you can do it in the metaphor where you actually have a donkey, right? Unless you have like a sock that you put over their mouth, but even that would be complicating things further here. If Eminem's threatening me, if he's gonna like punch me, why the fuck is he talking about a donkey? Talk about kicking my ass. Don't talk about kicking my donkey's ass. What? That one goes in the joke book. And girl, I ain't got no money to borrow, but I'm trying to find a way to get you a loan. Car note. Hashtag rap. Been a while, my friend. Okay, so this is alright. This could be like a pickup line that gets put in the joke book. But it honestly feels maybe a bit better quality than that. Maybe Tim Vine. Let's go Tim Vine. Everything but a brain, but the dome's off the fucking chain. Like an independent store. He could have just shouted out an independent store instead of saying an independent store. Maybe that could have been phrased better. I don't know. It's okay. It goes in the joke book. In a public stall, dropping a football, so every time... I can't with this one. I'm in a public stall, dropping a football, so every time someone walks in the John, I get maddened. This is too good. I'm sorry. This is one of my favorites here. In a public stall, dropping a football. That's hilarious. And then somebody walks in the John and he gets maddened. That's building on something. It doesn't feel forced. I'm jealous. I'm jealous that he has a bar like this. This goes in peak dad, no questions asked. I done quit chicken heads cold turkey and started slowly roasting him, cause that's where most of my anger is based. Again, he's talking about like roasting weaker rappers and being super angry, but the imagery he's providing is him basting a turkey. Like, it's a funny thing I guess I wouldn't have thought of, but I don't look at this and think bars. I think this is just sort of a needless pun, weirdly added for no good reason. This goes into the joke book. Next one's from River with Ed Sheeran. So she's been on the web lately, says maybe she'll be my Gwen Stacy. To Spider-Man. I actually think the genius lyric on this one is wrong. I think it might be despite her man, but whatever. You get it. Spider-Man. Again, this is him inserting a pun into a weirdly like dramatic song, or what he tries to make a dramatic song. This song, look, Revival was panned for a reason. This song is one of the worst. That one's ending up in the joke book. Actually just shit on my last chick, and she has what my ex lacks. He's talking about the Gwen Stacy girl here having what his ex lacks. To me, this isn't an attractive look if you're entering in a new relationship to constantly be bitching about your ex. What does Eminem mean by he just shit on his last chick? I don't want details of this. This is cornball as hell. I don't know, Bible camp. All right, next one. This type of pickle we're in is hard to deal. Dill. It's a slant. It's slanting the rhyme. It doesn't really work. Deal and dill, they just don't sound alike. Deal. Hello, I would like one deal pickle, please. No, this is pretty running on empty. Oh, right, this is on his Trump song, too. This is on Like Home. He's talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the pickle that's hard to dill. Do these dill pickle puns make you want to stop fascism in the U.S.? Yeah. Straight to Bible camp with that one. This one's also about Trump, so I guess it pays to feed off chaos. So basically, you ate off Hitler. You ate off Hitler. He's using it in like the rapper terminology here, where it's like you're stealing from Hitler, you're doing his plans in America, but you ate off Hitler. That sounds like you're tossing old Adolf salad, buddy, which is maybe an intentional thing, you know, like liberals were saying it was like sucking off Putin. He did some nipple play with Bolsonaro. He gave Netanyahu a rusty trombone. Liberals said that. That was on talk shows. This one's cheesy. Really, was there no better way to convey Trump was a bad guy in 2018 than to make puns about it? This song is supposed to be like inspirational, like, yeah, let's fight back. I'll give everybody a banner to rally under. You ate off Hitler. This is in the joke book. Again from the Trump song, because like a dictionary, things are looking up. No, man, stop. None of these puns are like making me enthused to fight the conservative agenda. You know what they say about dictionaries? Things are always looking up. Nah, man, I'm not having this. Bible camp. I just bodied the beat, so that hole must have been dug, 'cause it just died like food coloring. Duh. Ambitious making the ad-lib the rhyme there. It does just sound like he says like food coloring does. Maybe he does say that. I don't know, died. It takes a kid to realize that. There's nothing clever about that, and it's just clunkily put into the fucking bar. This is like the bare minimum for an Eminem pun. That's going in Bible camp too. That's just the thoroughbred in me, ain't a better breed. My dog thinks so too. Look at my pedigree. And then there's a little an ad-lib from the dog, conveying the idea that the dog actually does agree that Eminem is the best rapper in the world. No, I'm not gonna front. This is good. This is at least Tim Vine level. I don't know if I want to put it in bars or if I'm just trying to be generous because it's all been so shit for Revival up to now. Nah, that's a Tim Vine line if I've ever heard one. But I'm stiff as a statue, you sat on a shelf. I feel like I'm a bust. Maybe I'm just ahead of myself. Okay. We've got some good puns here. Like I'm a bust, but then he's a bust, like an actual head of himself as a statue. It's solid shit, because it's like conveying his greatness too. You'd build a statue out of him. That's how good his bars are, I guess. Where are we going with this one? Is it Tim Vine? Is it bars? I think I'm gonna put this in Tim Vine and maybe bump Pedigree up to bars, because I like the dog. I like the inclusion of the dog in the ad-lib. With this ink, you haters get wrote on like a piece of paper, haha. And then later in the bar, he writes, 'cause you're always stuck at your pad, it's stationary. Kind of a theme going here. Although Eminem is using stationary too in these bars, so it works. I'm gonna go Tim Vine with that one. Now watch me set it like correct time. All you get is sloppy seconds like a Timex. I clock rejects into the next life. This one's kind of going all over the place. I think the weakest one here is watch me set it like correct time. You know, Eminem will sometimes sacrifice his grammar for the bar speed here, and he's just talking like a caveman now. All you get is sloppy seconds like a Timex diss. That's a good kind of bar there, and then using that to bounce off to say he clocks rejects into the next life. Yeah, Tim Vine. It's not really a Tim Vine joke, but I feel it's sort of just a middling level. She make iller noises when she's with me, must be from the Windy City. Pretty apparent she's a MILF when she's blowing me, brackets blowing me. So this is kind of a 2-for-1 here, actually. Iller noises, she must be from the Windy City, but then you also have pretty apparent she's a MILF. That was obviously intentional. Eminem wouldn't just do that. So there's all of that there. But does that make it a better bar? I think the parent and a MILF kind of distracts from it. She makes iller noises when she's blowing me, must be from the Windy City. That makes more sense as a bar. That keeps the things contained. I don't know. I don't think this fell together in the right way. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put this in the joke book. I put you in your place like a realtor, boy. Chloroseptic. There's so many fucking puns off of chloroseptic, man. Yeah, that one goes in the joke book. Your booty is heavy duty like diarrhea. 'Cause duty means poopy, and you poopy caca out your butt. I don't know, if you're trying to compliment a girl on her ass, maybe don't use the most disgusting imagery that can be associated with one's ass. You're not making me super fucking jealous of this hot, sexy babe that you're hooking up with in this song by comparing her booty to diarrhea. It's an attempt at a sex joke that feels totally like sexless, disgusting in a way. I'm gonna put it in Bible camp. You're drinking Jack and Beam. I'm thinking soon this trampoline, so we should bounce. This girl's getting tipsy. Let's skedaddle. You know, it's not bad. Trampoline, bounce. Again, there's the misogyny in there, but Dude, there's so much misogyny in Eminem's music. I have listened to this man murder so many fictional women for just no reason in most of his songs. Just like, uh-oh, I love you, I have to kill you. So really just calling somebody a tramp, that's like low-level stuff. It just feels like a joke book joke because the weird, outdated language. Anyways, for MCs, it's a funeral when I'm devising this rhyme, 'cause I'm awake and you're mourning. There's something there. There's something that works there. I'll go Tim Vine with this one. Such a breeze when I pen rhymes. I just got that air about me like wind chimes. Wind chimes just have that air about them. That's what they do. They are near the air. The air is about in their orbit. Again, I'm just not feeling this one. We could put that in the joke book. There's a lot of shit I said in jest that it is tough to swallow. Okay, all right. Man, there was so much to sift through on Revival, man. This sucks. Joke book. But look, man, like the feds bugging my phone, I get why you're tapped. Tapped meaning out of energy, like I kind of am with these puns right now. I mean, it's kind of clever. I don't think I would have ever thought of it. Feels like it's a good candidate for Tim Vine. I don't think it's good enough for Tim Vine. I'm gonna put it in the joke book. Right, this is off Heat. This is the one where he's like apologizing to his mother for all the bad shit he wrote about her. Ma, the world is what I think of you. I think you're divine. So I might swing on you. Ooh, the wording there, buddy. Ooh, no. I don't know, maybe swinging just means something different to Eminem. Looking for support. You're divine. You're divine. You're the vine, mom. No, just basically all of the elements of this I don't like. Bible camp all the way with that one. I'm swimming in that Egyptian river 'cause I'm in denial. Again, that feels like a pretty basic joke that could be in any, like, joke book. So, yeah, let's just put it there. All right, hang on a second. You know, I was thinking about it when I was gone. I'm gonna move this one up, you know? I think it's involved enough. It was swimming around in my head while I was gone, and it has, in my opinion, become worthy of being called bars. Alright, so we were on Kamikaze when I finished recording last time. Let's get into it. We're talking about Eminem rapping even when I hit my 40s like a fucking alcoholic. Hitting his 40s. I think this is alright. It's a clean one that works, and it's kind of unique for a rapper. I don't know. Maybe someone else has used the bar before, but I can't think of that many rappers trying to look cool by rapping about being in their 40s. I appreciate this one. I'm gonna put that in bars. Am I wrong for thinking this is bars? Next up, maybe Stan just isn't your cup of tea. Get it? Oh my god, he's saying get it? As a rap ad-lib, that has to be like bottom 5. In the chorus of Stan, she sings about drinking tea. Do you get it? Like, you can let some of the jokes go over the people's heads. This isn't that involved anyways. I swear, the get it just like marks it down for me. I'll put it in the joke book. You ain't never been charged in connection with battery. Bitch, you ain't plugged into nothing. Like you're plugging it in, you're connecting it with the battery, you're charging it. I don't know, to me it just kind of feels like one of those that's like super layered, but not actually that funny or interesting. So I think I'm gonna also put that in the joke book. Put me on a track, I go crayon it like a color book. You go, I guess he's using crayon as a verb for coloring in a color book. Again, you're trying to like make yourself look tough, but you're like talking about something a 3-year-old would have. But going cray on it, cray on... there's something there, I don't know. I guess this is all that it needs to be to work. It's just kind of like, crayon. You did it, Eminem. Color me surprised. Get it? This can be a Tim Vine joke. But like a cyclone, I just got my disguise blown. Okay, this one has like a weird element to it that I couldn't get out of my head. So obviously I was looking all this up on Genius just to make sure I was following along with the lyrics and all the puns and getting it. And I was surprised that this one actually had a verified annotation on it. And then I looked at what Eminem had to say about it, and it's not Eminem. It was verified, but by just some other guy. Who the fuck is Lone Star Music? Disguise blown sounds like the sky's blowing. which is what happens when there's a tornado or cyclone. Imagine you go outside and there's a tornado and somebody says, look, the sky's blowing. No one would ever say that. Why is this a verified lyric? I don't even know if that's what Eminem meant. I thought he just meant like blown, like the wind blows like during a cyclone or something. I don't know. It's shit. Is Bible camp too harsh? No, it's not. All right, next. I heard your freestyle on Shade 45. That shit was embarrassing. There's no way we ever hear that shit again. That shit was so ass, it's something we wouldn't dare re-air. Get it? Okay, apart from the get it at the end of this, I actually really like this one. Like, shout out to the French. The language, obviously, not the people. It's a bit labored in its setup, but like, I don't know, the punchline's worth it to me. We wouldn't dare re-air it because it was so ass. It's like, you know, if you want to convey something being bad, that's when you use ass imagery. You're not gonna say your booty looks as good as diarrhea. You're gonna say your freestyle was ass and we wouldn't dare re-air it. Mwah, that's me. That's me kissing the asshole. Mwah. Am I crazy? I think I'm gonna put that in Peak Dad. I think that's our second Peak Dad candidate. These rappers are like Hunger Games. 1 minute they're mocking Jay, next minute they get their style from Migos or they copy Drake. I guess they're like biting because they're hungry, but mocking Jay, Hunger Games book. Solid pun. I always like the hip-hop references. I don't know if I'm just a sucker for that, but I'm gonna say that's bars. I think I'm just being nicer to Eminem on this recording session. Sorry to the first half of his late career discography for getting me when I was in a grumpy mood, apparently. Although looking over all of these, I kind of agree. Like, yeah, none of these are making it up a tier. Not at all. Because this bar is over your head, so you better have arms if you're gonna pull up. Like, I get that he's talking about, like, arms, like, guns and stuff, if you're gonna pull up on him, but also just like it being a joke about like doing a pull-up. I find it very funny to say, so you better have arms. Anybody who's gonna step to me better have legs. I don't know, how much do I really like this one? It doesn't faze me that much, but I don't find myself being super critical of it either. I guess that means it lands in the Tim Pool Guess that makes it land in the Tim Vine category. We're on the upswing like we're punching the ceiling. This one's a little weak. This kind of reminds me of the Donkey bar where it's like, I don't know, it's too obvious. Like, on the upswing, what else would that even mean? This one to me maybe doesn't convey what it wants to because it's like, things are looking up, I'm punching the ceiling. Maybe it could be like, we're on the upswing and we're gonna punch through that ceiling. To actually convey, you know, like breaking through barriers or some shit. No, you're just punching the ceiling. What? Because you're mad at it? I think that can go in the joke book. Like my monthly bill from Sprint, they're charging me for a selfie. Okay, this is about like fans charging him in the street, but then Sprint is charging him for a selfie. That's very clever. Do you get it? I kind of think it's clever. I think that can go in bars. I finished a sandwich. Next up, we've officially gotten to music to get murdered by. Neighbors called police on him. So many battery charges, this dude's like lithium ion. Holy shit, how many times is he gonna use this bar? Get it? Because you charge a battery. Because like a lithium ion battery that's in your phone. Get it? I'm beating up women like an iPhone. Given that this is the same as the last one, I'm just gonna put it in the fucking Bible camp at this point. I'm tired of hearing these battery puns. But it seems like the more they studied the music, the more they remind me of eyeballs. I'm watching my pupils get cornier. That's a bit of a cell phone, isn't it? Unless you're trying to own it. Like, yeah, all my pupils are getting cornier. That's my legacy in rap. Watch this. I'm about to make an eyeball pun. The more they studied my music, the more they remind me of eyeballs. I don't know, I'm thinking this has to go into the joke book. Call us Liquid Plumber, cause even Dre knows. Okay. That's solid, easy, clean. Yeah, Tim Vine. And put him down like they did to my dog. I'm talking euthanasia, like kids in Taiwan. Youth in Asia. This isn't even the first time I've heard this joke. Like, I don't know, isn't this song supposed to be sung from, like, the perspective of an angry teen dealing with his stepdad? Would this guy really be like, I'm gonna put him down, I'm talking euthanasia, like kids in Taiwan? Like, that's not a teenager, that's a 40-year-old man. I'll say this is in the joke book. Was a ghetto boy, now I ball out like Bushwick Bill. eyeball out. That's in brackets. Do you get it? As much as Eminem brags about being a guy of like, oh, these bars go over your head. No, they don't. Bushwick Bill was a member of the Ghetto Boys, has an eye patch because he lost his eyeball. His eyeball came out. I don't know why I have like a soft spot for all these rap puns. I guess it's probably just that like I know Eminem really loves the Ghetto Boys, so I'm glad he's making puns over the things that he cares about. And I'm gonna put this in bars. I got him passing out like what you do when you hand someone flyers. I don't know, this isn't from Those Kind of Nights, this is from Godzilla. This is in that whole section where he's like, I'm like a liar's pants, I'm on fire, even to the day I retire. The imagery of like handing someone flyers is never gonna translate to like cool, hot guy. Yeah, this kind of just feels like another mismatch for Eminem. Joke book. She heard some Wu-Tang coming from towards the patio. She was like, what the heck was that? She went to check the noise and inspect the deck. I don't know. I like the Wu-Tang reference, but I feel like it needs to be more hardcore. Like Wu-Tang Clan, they're all about fucking violence. I feel like hit the deck is sort of a phrase that you could spin on here. Get down on the ground, make like Wu-Tang and inspect the deck. Like maybe that doesn't work, but this definitely also doesn't work, right? And I love me some Inspect the Deck. His verse on Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With is one of my favorite verses ever. When the needle hits the groove, I gets rude and I'm forced to fuck it up. My style carries like a pickup truck. Cross the club yonder, see the shot and see I slap truck. Like yeah, that shit just gets me hype. I heard some Wu-Tang coming from the patio. Let's go inspect the deck. I'm afraid I can only go as far as Tim Vine on that one. Be triumphant, cause when I'm looking at my legacy, leg, I see. Bunch of dogs trying to dry hump it. Is this a reigniting of the beef between him and Triumph the Insult Comic Dog? I think leg, I see is just fucking terrible. Or I just kind of think it's delivered in a bad way. I don't even think you need the pun to make this work as a bar. Like, you can just say, when I see my leg, I see a bunch of dogs trying to dry hump it. And that works totally well with the intended message of people are trying to fucking feed off of my status and get what they don't have off of me. And then the word legacy can be buried in that, and you can let the bar go over people's heads, Eminem. Nah, man. This one is very narrowly avoiding the Bible camp. Of pills, think your boy is just starting to feel like a spoiled carton of milk. 'Cause it just occurred. Oh no, it doesn't work totally well unless you're saying it's just occurred. Like there's not much milk left and it's spoiled anyway. Don't drink it. It's just occurred. This is just like where I wish you would fucking cool it a bit. Like you can just say something occurred. You don't need to make it a fucking pun, Eminem. But alright, I take this man as he is, with his flaws and all. And that is going in the joke book. You know what? I'm really hurting my case here that I actually did like music to get murdered by. If I pop any caps, it better be off vodka. Round after round after round, I'm getting loaded. That's a lot of shots, huh? Double entendre. Get it? Shots and shots. He's far from the first rapper to make this comparison, I'm sure. And to even top it off at the end with the double entendre, like, oh, I'm talking about shots. But also shots. But also they were taking pictures of me like shots. That's a triple entendre. And I'm gonna shoot myself in the head. That's quadruple entendre. We're getting a lot of material for the joke book here. Only way that you're ahead of me is alphabetically, because if you diss me, I'm coming after you like the letter V. You know, it's not even that clever, but for some reason it made me happier than the previous ones. This is vibes-based judgment. I'll give that a Tim Vine. No way I'll get married. It'll take a rain cloud to wet us. That sucks. That genuinely does feel like a Bible camp joke. The only way she's getting wet with me is if it's raining. Because I'm not gonna let her use my umbrella. You know, I guess it's cooler to brag about like, I'm just gonna sleep with her and then it's nothing, you know? But like talking about getting married and using the word wed, that's just so Christian core to me. That truly does belong in the Bible camp. Call them toy soldiers because they just wind up on their backs. You know what? I like that. It's a good double entendre, because toy soldiers, they're just pawns. You're controlling them. They're weak, and at the same time, they wind up on their backs. Now, who am I fooling? That's bars. Plus, I get dough like Ed Sheeran, so call me the gingerbread man. Easy money, easy money. Ed Sheeran, ginger, dough, bread, Eminem, man. All the elements are there. Is that also going in bars? I think that's also going in bars. Some are like, you don't need to use every wordplay that's there, Eminem. You could just say some are like bees to a flower, cause some people find me appalling. This is like why I'll never be able to take reactionary anything seriously. Like, I'm too fucking gross for these people. I'm about to prove it by making a pun about bees. Yes, that is totally the nastiest shit that any rapper is rapping about these days. Eminem, he's still on top of his game. That's going in the joke book. Now I got the juice, wouldn't beef if I was you. Like, I was you, but beef if, like, I was you. But, like, fuck you, man. I'm sorry that one got away from you, man. It's alright, you can pick it up next time. You've got this, man. You've made more puns than any rapper that I know. I was you. There's a little bit there, but like, fuck you, man. That's a Tim Vine. They say these bars are like COVID. You get them right off the bat. Obviously, the bat soup being the origin story of COVID. I felt that was a little sensationalized, like Western cultures always kind of look at China like, what freaky things are they eating? And COVID, everybody was getting COVID. Everybody's getting these Eminem bars. At least he's acknowledging how blatant he is with all of these puns. I don't think this is that bad. That can be another Tim Vine. I'm stuck in this radioactive pattern, but her by her motherfucking hair is all I imagine dragon. I don't know, Imagine Dragons kind of have the pattern of being a pretty limp dick band, but I guess their bombast kind of works well with what Eminem does. How hasn't there been an Eminem Imagine Dragons collab yet? That's sitting right there. Or Eminem on a Maroon 5 song. Adam Levine can talk about having like hot sex with a woman, and then Eminem can talk about killing her or something. Don't all the pop artists want to work with Eminem? Look at this funny Imagine Dragon bar. I've heard Imagine Dragon D's nuts across your face before. That was a joke when I was a teenager. This can go in the Bible camp. I don't care for it at all. Yeah, back when Flava Flav had us wearing clocks, back with Ed Lover, and there was 2 Dr. Dre's. That's a paradox. Okay, you won me back, Eminem. That's so perfect. Like, it's everything that I want in an Eminem pun. Reminiscing about old hip-hop, and also paradox, how haven't I thought of that? Wow, Eminem, I love you. Yep, peak dad. He's earned that one. We're an unlikely pair, like 2 different Nike Airs, but I'm the same size she wears, Jordan, so I think we're soulmates. Though, the soulmates pun, it works. It's just like cheesy. I think that qualifies it for a Tim Vine. Now we're on to the death of Slim Shady, and I didn't actually find that many worth mentioning on here. He has cooled it in favor of really upfront storytelling about, whoa, what is this offensive creature that lives within me? Am I gonna kill it? Is it gonna kill me? Is it gonna get me canceled? Riveting stuff. He dies at the end of it. I don't remember why. I'm sure someone could explain it to me in the comments. If I was ever to take a leave, it would be aspirin to break a feeve. He wouldn't take a leave, he would take an leave. Not a bad bar for a hey, I'm back song, you know? He's like, I'm not gone, I'm just old. Wearing it on his sleeve, I like that. That can be a bar. I accept it as a bar. If I was to ask for Megan Thee Stallion if she would collab with me, would I really have a shot at a feat? Because she was shot by Tory Lanez. Like, I get this bar as just like an irreverent Slim Shady joke. I think the well was kind of poisoned by Drake and 21 Savage just like taking weird shots at Megan Thee Stallion after Tory Lanez had already taken actual shots at Megan Thee Stallion, and somehow she became the villain of the story, and it was a point of contention for a lot of really cool hip-hop guys. Just sort of that being like the public narrative that story got a lot of the time. That's what irks me. This is just a dad joke after the fact. And, you know, it doesn't really matter because Megan Thee Stallion is still one of the biggest rappers ever, and Tory Lanez should probably go to jail, right? He shot her. That you can throw someone in jail for that, right? Maybe I would prefer more jokes about that, but This shot at her feet, it kind of sounds, you can slant it that way. That to me is just sort of a middling joke. Lyrical technician, an electrician, y'all light work. Easy. This could have been an old school Eminem bar. Like, this genuinely could have been on Without Me or something. That's the level of, like, a clever, easy flow joke. That can go in bars. See, I like Houdini. I like some of the things he says on Houdini. Other ones, swing and a miss. Bumping R. Kelly's favorite group, the Black Guy Peas. I guess dunks on R. Kelly are cool, even though, you know, that story of him being on a teenager was around for a while before anyone realized, hey, that guy was actually a real fucked up criminal for that, huh? But honestly, it's like a good way to take shots at like two different artists from your era in one bar. Good pun. You know what? Bars aplenty on this song. I can't find that many faults with them, just evaluating them on like short, clever puns. Like, this is what puns should be in Eminem songs. They shouldn't be these big fucking labored things where you chop off your toes and step on a fucking receipt. Hey look, the sky's blowing. Honestly, I kind of feel like a thin line divides like the R. Kelly bar from maybe like an Ex-Lax bar or something like that. It just sort of needs to be clever enough to meet a threshold of actually being good, and I think that one is. I'm getting really in depth in this. I'm analyzing these last ones. So they want beef, we can make like Bonnie and Clyde. I also appreciate that a little bit. And Bonnie and Clyde is like a good Eminem reference. There's layers to it, you know? No, it's funny. I can give that one to Tim Vine, because I put that shit to bed like Amber Heard at a mattress firm, brackets. Okay, we were on a roll there for a second. Not to get on a soapbox, but yeah, no, I don't believe that a grown woman shit in her own bed while her husband was on vacation as a means of getting back at him for his well-documented fucking years of alcohol abuse and misconduct to people around him, to the point where he has become a massive liability to work with. I don't know, just like the whole Amber Heard spin campaign. Like, yeah, sure, well-established superstar Amber Heard was abusive and misusing her power towards one of the biggest superstars in Hollywood who is twice her age. No, that was a two-way street. It was a toxic dynamic. It's not a story that we've seen play out thousands of times before. Rich dude abuses his power and influence against women. No. She shit in the bed. Never mind that their dog had bowel problems. Amber Heard's a slut for shitting in a bed? Okay, I want to acknowledge that this is like Slim Shady saying this. This is supposed to be like an offensive caricature born from his angst and his neglect. And at the same time, though, I don't really get the idea that's entirely removed from what people want, given the reactionary sentiment of like, oh, people are just too offended nowadays. Like, if Eminem came out and said all of this stuff without the pretext of like, oh, this is Slim Shady, this is bad, I don't think his fans would really be on that page. I think they'd be like, oh, this is hilarious. So yeah, that's kind of what fucking pins at me a bit about all this Amber Heard shit. Amber Heard at a mattress firm. Ariana Grande with a venti latte. Fucking shout out to Dev Lemons. That's all I thought about while fucking listening to half of these albums. Just like rhyming a celebrity's name with a fucking place.
Charlie Sheen in a dog's washing machine.
And then for some reason calling her a right afterwards. I think Bible Camp might be the wrong category for its attitude, but no, I don't really respect that at all. But Mom, do I still act 8? Maybe a little Debbie. Like a snack cake. What the is he calling his mom a in this bar? Okay, alright. If he's gonna swing on her later. Okay, I mean, yeah, obviously that happened a lot in earlier era Eminem. Just kind of reads weird after making a pun about Little Debbie snack cakes. His mom's name is Debbie. That's the reference here. These are a couple of stinkers in a row, if you ask me. Maybe I'll put that in the joke book. I'm like an R-A-P-E-R. Yeah, I got so many essays. Wait, he didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out a P, did he? Okay, I feel like we're back on track with this one. Like making fun of P. Diddy. Yes, worth it. I have to look into what essays means here. I thought he was just saying like essays, like speeches or something. Genius is trying to say that it's saying essays as in a friend in Spanish. I'm like a rapper. I have so many friends. That part doesn't really work. All in all, solid pun. I'm also gonna say that's a bar. Look who's talking, dog. Like Brian from Family Guy. Because it's a talking dog. That's so dumb it almost works to me. I don't know. I can't let it get that far. I think I have to put it in the Tim Vine category. And last one from the kickoff freestyle. I'd have to be stomped by 40 men to suffer a defeat. Bravo, Eminem. Wordsmith, lyricist of our generation. Undefeated, yet to be stomped by 40 men and suffering a defeat. All is well in the world. I did it. I'm no longer possessed by Eminem. That was the plot of this video, I guess. So, I wanted to do an outro here to clarify why in the world I decided to do this. And to me, what I'm examining in this video is just kind of the purpose of metaphor and simile in lyricism in general, which is to convey something with an image rather than just saying it in plain language, you know? Like when Inspect the Deck says he slams tracks like quarterback sacks from LT, he's comparing his force on the microphone to being body checked by a football player. And he's right. That's how you use these things effectively. But by focusing entirely on the wordplay aspect of it, Eminem just completely discards that exploration of metaphor in a way that I think really detracts from his writing. Like when Eminem says your booty looks like diarrhea, that's gross and conveys the complete opposite of what I assume he's going for. I hope. And to me, all of this just kind of ends up being a really artificial way of fabricating this idea among your fans that your lyricism has these really intricate layers of meaning to it. Because that's what everybody wants to believe about their favorite rapper, right? That they're penning these 4D bars that have these worlds of hidden knowledge to them. But not all complexity is built the same, and it got me considering what I actually think is depthful lyricism in rap, and trying to come up with my own examples of that. During the epic rap battle of history in 2024, the song of Kendrick's that I went back and revisited the most was probably The Art of Peer Pressure off of Good Kid, Mad City. On this track, Kendrick tells a story of a night out with friends trolling the streets of Compton and making a risky play to rob a neighborhood house that they think is abandoned. Turns out, it's not. Not only is it a compelling story in and of itself, but as he's weaving this narrative, he's also writing about growing up in Compton, the culture that surrounds him there, his own philosophies and spiritual connection to it, and the various ways that wanting to conform to this social environment he finds himself in may lead him to making the wrong decisions. In a bubble, it's pretty much the entire thesis of Good Kid, Mad City. And beyond that, if you look at other songs off of the album, like Backseat Freestyle or Money Trees, within the full context, you can see that he's playing a character of his younger self in order to somewhat critique these narratives that he grew up with. The hedonism that inspires many kids to chase celebrity to escape from their mundane lives, or the way that the individualistic pursuit of money isolates you from your community. That's what I interpret these songs to be, and I'm sure somebody else might have different interpretations of that. And to me, that's what actual depth and lyricism looks like. There is underlying depth to Kendrick's lyricism that it doesn't just rely on cheap wordplay in order to execute it. Of course, the way to actually give your lyrics depth is to write about things that are important. And by no means is Eminem's career devoid of this, but when it comes to his puns, it's like they're the complete opposite, constructing all of these bars that are fully accommodating the idea they're supposed to end in some form of wordplay basically guarantees that you're spending a ton of energy on lyrics that are really trivial, lyrics that only elicit an eye roll as they otherwise distract from the point of the song. And that's why the goal in rap was never really to make the most puns or double entendres, especially if focusing on that undercuts the initial meaning on the surface layer. You know, it needs to have one meaning before it can become a double entendre. You can't just chop your toes off and step on a receipt in the restaurant in order to own your worthless date. That makes no sense. And that's all I'm really trying to say here. You know, Eminem, and especially his fans, they seem to really let critics get to them, firing back and being super defensive over Eminem's lyrics and rapping style. And to me, there's just a little dissonance in that makes it really funny. You know, when your lyrics contain continuous strings of fishes sitting in barrels like "I'm a stroller and you'll see how I roll if you push me," what reaction do you expect from that? Eminem's fans don't just argue that he's good or among the greats. They argue that he singularly is the greatest rapper of all time. And when you're arguing that the guy who wrote this is just head and shoulders above everybody else, how do you think that comes across? I'm not beating the Eminem hater allegations, am I? I don't know. I was here before you kids. You twerps in my comment section weren't even alive before Eminem was sober. I was in the back of my parents' car on my Walkman at age 8, listening to Eminem's Encore. I should not have had Eminem's Encore at age 8, but I had cool parents. Thanks, Eminem, for giving me my first ever imagery of and thanks to all the Eminem fans who made it to the end of this video. I genuinely didn't expect for you to put up with my curmudgeon-y word nerd ass on this one. So let's take another look at this final list. After editing all of this together, I decided to move a couple things around, specifically like this. As you can see, all of the bars that I decided to move down a tier are highlighted in red, and the one bar I decided to move up is highlighted in green. I'm sorry I couldn't find more. I think mostly everything was in its right place. I didn't necessarily think anything should be leaping from the joke book to Peak Dad or anything. I guess I just think the Combat Man bar has more ambition than I initially gave it. Like, it's kooky and it's weird, and I think that puts it a step above Bible camp, even if it still doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense or work as a metaphor. The rest of them I just thought were sloppy or lazy in a way that maybe I was just being nice about it on my initial reaction, like the Wu-Tang bar, which is long and kind of boring, or the Denial bar, which is cheap and easy and kind of an irrelevant detour to the rest of the song. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this list, and I'm happy with what landed in the Peak Dad category too. I like that it's a little exclusive. Maybe the Derriere line could have been trimmed down a bit, but at the same time, there's just something about it that I still really enjoy. I think all of the bars in Peak Dad kind of hint at Eminem's longevity and his storied career and the things that he's passionate about, or even the John Madden bar being about his fame in contrast to him just sort of being a normal guy. And I think all of the puns in these actually drive home the meaning of the bars even better. Yes, including the 80 feet, I genuinely think that's a fucking Peak Dad bar. There are so many more from that one specific freestyle that I could include, and many other freestyles. Keep in mind that this is only the songs that are on Eminem's albums. There are still his featured verses, songs that he put out as singles by himself or with other artists, and plenty of puns on these albums that I missed for this video. So what I'm saying is I could easily make another one of these. I don't intend to. I don't want to, but I could. It's been a big year for Eminem, and I think a lot of people are going back and reevaluating his old albums in the wake of, you know, him making a big show out of killing Slim Shady, but also him becoming a grandfather, and also, pretty sadly, in the last week, as I was finishing up this video, his mother passing away. And in general, I've just been hearing more Eminem out in the wild, than I have in previous years. And as much fun as I had trashing on these puns, I'm genuinely happy that he's still going, and I hope he keeps evolving and changing things up, you know? I'd honestly rather have pun Eminem than no Eminem, but I'll take any other Eminems that are available, thank you very much. It doesn't just have to be this. There's a whole world of lyricism to explore that doesn't involve saying this pickle is hard to dill. But that'll be it for me today. Make sure to leave a like on this video if you liked it, or comment if you're angry, and I'll make sure to get back to them,